My peoples. Y'all already know, man. The saga continues with Tank Davis and Lamont Roach. The whole situation. What's going to happen? What is the New York State Athletic Commission going to do? Everyone is awaiting for the decision. And a lot of fighters, coaches, fans are chiming in and saying what they think should happen. Well, the face of boxing, Canelo Álvarez, spoke about it. He says that, once Tank Davis took a knee, that should have been a 10-8 round, which would mean Lamont Roach wins the fight. Trainer Robert Garcia, he already had his opinion out there. And he says that there were 3 instances in that round that should have affected the scoring system in Roach's favor. Number one, Tank Davis took a knee, grounds for a point deduction. Number two, turned his back away from his opponent and the referee. That could have been stopped right there. That's a TKO. And number three, Tank Davis's trainer, who went on the apron and wiped his face mid-round, that's grounds for disqualification. I actually spoke about this yesterday and the day before. There were 3 instances that could have led to Lamont Roach winning that fight. But let's see what the boxing community has to say about this whole situation. Like I said, my peoples, we have to simply consider the fact that rules are not meant to be broken. They're meant to be followed. So, we have a portion of the boxing community that wants the rules to be followed, and a portion of the boxing community that wants to defend Tank Davis. I understand, when you're a fan of a fighter, you want to defend him. You want to fight for your guy. But how about the rules? At the end of the day, I think, most fans care about the rules. And then when you see the fighters talk about it, the trainers talk about it, they go by the rules. So we've already seen Robert Garcia say what he had to say about the topic. And I got the video for you right here. It's only a few of us. But I'm going to play the video so that you guys can see what Robert Garcia had to say. And I'm also going to play the video of what Canelo Álvarez had to say. So check this out, my peoples. Look, this is Canelo Álvarez, and this is Robert Garcia. He's giving his opinion. Look.
3 different situations where 3 ways Roach should have won that fight. Took a knee, that was a standing 8 count, 100%. That was a knockdown. Then he turns and walks away. That the ref should have waved it off, and that should have been a TKO. And then his corner steps into the ring to wipe his face. That's a disqualification. Yeah. There's no way Roach shouldn't have walked out with that belt in his hands. There was three different situations where.
So you can see, my people, Robert Garcia talks about it, and as a trainer, what he does is he go by the boxing rules. A lot of fans, we want to go by what we like or by what we think should happen. But people within the boxing community, we're talking about somebody who's going to be a Hall of Fame trainer. Robert Garcia is, he's been trainer of the year. He's trained world champions. And he's telling us there's 3 things that happened that could have led to Lamont Roach walking out of there as the champion. 3 different things, my peoples. I see some more my peoples joined into this live. So I'm gonna play the video once again for the new people who jumped in. Check it.
There was three different situations where 3 ways Roach should have won that fight. Took a knee, that was a standing 8 count, 100%. That was a knockdown. Then he turns and walks away. That the ref should have waved it off, and that should have been a TKO. And then his corner steps into the ring to wipe his face. That's a disqualification. Yeah. There's no way Roach shouldn't have walked out with that belt in his hands. There was three three different
You
situations
see, my
where
people? So
three ways
that's
Roach
the whole
should have won that.
situation, my peoples. We have to consider, should the rules be followed or should there be an exception for Tank Davis because he's such a big star? You know, he's the cash cow. He's the guy, you know, almost everybody in that arena went to see Tank Davis. But the New York State Athletic Commission is reviewing this whole situation. And what are they taking into consideration? Do they really think, well, Tank Davis is a big star? Are they really going to take that into consideration? A lot of people are saying they will, they will. It's about politics, it's about money. Some fans are even saying they probably sent them a bag already so that they could rule in Tank's favor. But when we talk about the rules, yo, anybody who knows boxing knows who Robert Garcia is. This guy is one of the biggest names as far as boxing trainers. World renowned, trained a bunch of world champions. And he's telling us, and it's funny because before yesterday, I said exactly those three things that he's pointing out. That's exactly what I said. There were three different things that happened within about a 10-15 second span. And it was Tank Davis taking a knee, turning his back on his opponent and the referee, and then going to the corner, his trainer going on the apron and wiping his face. All three of those things can cause a point deduction and even a disqualification. All three of them are people's. So now that the New York State Athletic Commission is on the hot seat because they have to make a decision, we have to see how it's going to play out. We have to see how it's going to play out. How, you know, because everybody's waiting for that ruling to come down. And I have to say, no matter what they decide is going to be controversial. No matter what the New York State Athletic Commission decide is going to be controversy. Because if they leave it as is and say, no, we're not overturning it, there's going to be a bunch of fans that are going to say, well, boxing is rigged, boxing is fake, it was scripted. But if they overturn it, there's going to be a lot of people upset with that as well. So it's like the boxing commission right now, the athletic commission, yo, they're on the hot seat. They're on the hot seat. So I'll play the video for you guys who jumped in just now. Look, let me play the video. This is Robert Garcia, and this is what Robert Garcia had to say about it.
Three different situations where three ways Roach should have won that fight. Took a knee, that was a standing 8 count, 100%. That was a knockdown. Then he turns and walks away. That the ref should have waved it off, and that should have been a TKO. And then his corner steps into the ring to wipe his face. That's a disqualification. Yeah. There's no way Roach shouldn't have walked out with that belt in his hands. There was three different situations where.
So it's a family gang. What's good, my brother? Good to have you on. So listen, right now, the situation is getting hot. We're getting closer. That decision is going to come down the pipe real soon. So we're trying to figure out what is the New York State Athletic Commission going to do. That's why I'm playing this video for you guys, because remember, they're reviewing round number 9 and what happened with the knee and what happened right there in those 10-15 seconds. And look what Robert Garcia is saying. He's saying the same thing that I told you guys yesterday and the day before. There were 3 infractions from Tank Davis. 3. Right there on the spot within a few seconds. So we have to wonder, how is it going to play out? Yo, like I said, man, the athletic commission, they have to make a decision. They have to make a ruling. What are they going to say? Yo, so it's a family gang. Did you see what Canelo Álvarez had to say about this situation as well? Because there's also a video where Canelo was asked. And Canelo said, listen, that round, oh, I got it right here, actually. Check it out, my peoples.
He take a knee. You need to lose like 10-8 that round at least, no? And plus the corner go up and put it a towel in the face. That's a disqualification for sure. I'm talking about.
Listen to what Canelo has to say.
You need to lose like 10-8 that round at least, no? And plus the corner go up and and put it a towel in the face, that's disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rules, but it's not my business.
You see, that's what I'm trying to tell you, that when it comes to the rules, you have the face of boxing. You have a world-renowned trainer telling us about the rules. Like, they not trying to hate on Tank Davis. Yo, Canelo Álvarez has said for the last few years that Tank Davis is one of his favorite fighters. But when they ask him about the rules are the rules. Look at Robert Garcia.
There
Look.
was three different situations where three ways Roach should have won that fight. Took a knee, that was a standing 8 count, 100%. That was a knockdown. Then he turns and walks away. That the ref should have waved it off, and that should have been a TKO. And then his corner steps into the ring to wipe his face. That's a disqualification. Yeah. There's no way Roach shouldn't have walked out with that belt in his hands. There was three different.
There you have it, my peoples. So that's what I've been trying to explain to everybody. That it's not about hating on Tank Davis. It's not about wanting Tank Davis to lose. It's about the rules of boxing and the integrity of the sport. That's what it's about. Dope Nixon 92, Lamont Roach and team going on a press tour about what should have happened. You see? There you go. You rocking with the Tankomaniacs, my brother, because you pointing at everybody, but you don't want to talk about the rules. You see? Robert Garcia is not talking about Lamont Roach. Canelo Álvarez is not talking about Lamont Roach. They're talking about the rules of boxing, my guy. And y'all keep pointing at everybody else except the rules of boxing. Lloyd Banks, why don't you box? Why don't you box? You know so much. My brother, I'm too old to box. What do you mean? I'm 46 years old. I'm not trying to go out there and get beat up. And by the way, I used to box. I was an amateur boxer. And I made it all the way to the Golden Glove semifinals in New York City. So I used to box. Yes. But I'm too old to box now. Now, Lloyd Banks, what you're telling me is that you're a hardcore Tank Davis fan and you don't care about the rules of boxing, because we're talking about the rules of boxing, but you don't want to talk about that. You want to talk about anything. Or look, why don't I box? Like, bro, what the hell do boxing got anything to do with anything? I'm a boxing analyst. You're not asking, if you see Stephen A. Smith talking about it, you don't ask him, yo, why you don't box since you know? If you see Stephen A. Smith talking about basketball and football, you don't tell him, yo, why don't you go play basketball since you know so much? So that's whack for you to say, why don't I box? My boxing abilities have nothing to do with me giving an opinion about the boxing rules, my peoples. Morality in boxing, very, very rare, my friend. Well, right now we know that the New York State Athletic Commission has to make a decision. Now, what decision they're going to make, we don't know. But they're going to be on the hot seat, because a lot of the biggest names in boxing have already spoke about this. Canelo Álvarez spoke about this. Canelo Álvarez is a bigger star than Tank. And he's saying, yo, the rules of boxing got to be applied. Tiny Time, Jimmy Wise Guy. Eubank Ben. Yo, Chris Eubank versus Conor Ben, that's a beautiful fight, and I can't wait for it. I know that Conor Ben is the smaller fighter, but I don't know. I just think, man, he's bringing in that energy that I feel like he's going to knock Eubanks out. I could be wrong, but I think he's going to pull it off. But again, my peoples, look, for those of you who just joined in, look what Robert Garcia had to say about the situation with Tank Davis. Look.
Three different situations where three ways Roach should have won that fight. Took a knee, that was a standing 8 count, 100%. That was a knockdown. Then he turns and walks away. That the ref should have waved it off, and that should have been a TKO. And then his corner steps into the ring to wipe his face. That's a disqualification. Yeah. There's no way Roach shouldn't have walked out with that belt in his hands. There was three.
You see, my people. So why is it that y'all don't want to hear about the facts of the rules that needed to be followed? You want to point at somebody else. No, this guy. No, that guy. Lloyd Banks, my guy, asking me why don't I box. Look.
He take a knee. You need to lose like 10-8 that round at least, no? And plus the corner go up and put it a towel in the face. That's a disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rules, but it's not my business. He take a knee.
I want to remind you, my people, that for the last couple of years, Canelo Álvarez has been saying that Tank Davis is his favorite fighter to watch. Canelo Álvarez said Tank Davis will beat Shakur and Tank will beat everybody in the division. That's his guy, his favorite fighter to watch. So he's a fan of Tank. Yet, with this whole situation, he's going by the rules of boxing. You see, that's the difference between just being a fan of a fighter and understanding the rules and following the rules. People who are fans of Tank, they don't care about the rules. They don't want to talk about the rules. It's all about you're hating. How about this other fight? How about this other guy? And all these other situations that have absolutely nothing to do with the rules. We got to stop deflecting, my peoples. Stop deflecting and pointing at something else. And let's keep it 100. Lloyd Banks, Shakur is a boring ass fighter. That's your opinion. You see, that's an opinion. I enjoy watching Shakur. I don't find him boring. That's your opinion. If you find him boring, hey, that's on you. That's on you, my brother. There's a reason why Shakur Stevenson also has a fan base. There's a lot of people that follow him too. They don't think he's boring. So if you think he's boring, that's all a matter of opinion. But if you're a Tank fan, you're going to go against Shakur and you're going to go against everything that goes against Tank. That's the particular thing about Tank Davis fans. If Tank is not with it, y'all not with it. Y'all only like whatever Tank like. And y'all defend Tank at all costs. Rules were broken. Y'all don't want to hear about no rules. Y'all don't want to talk about no rules. Like, look, Lloyd Banks, so far, what have you said in this live? You said that why I don't box and that Shakur is boring. But what have you said about the rules? Nothing. You got one of the most important trainers in boxing, a guy that's going to the Hall of Fame, a guy that's been trainer of the year, telling you that 3 rules were broken. You haven't said a word about that. Come on now. You got Canelo Álvarez, the face of boxing, telling you, yo, the rules were broken. You haven't said anything about that. You want to talk about why don't I go box, and Shakur is boring, and you want to talk about everything except the rules. Lloyd Banks, who follows him? Nobody knows about him. What Showtime boxing fight did he get? Look, still don't want to talk about the rules of boxing. You want to talk about everything but the rules of boxing. That's crazy. That's insane. That's insane. And then you're talking about nobody knows Shakur. You're still talking about him. Like, this whole situation is not about Shakur. It's about Tank Davis and him taking a knee. So I don't understand what exactly you talking about. By the way, nobody knows Shakur, right? Nobody knows him. Bro, the guy has 1.2 million followers on Instagram. 1.2 million followers. So to say nobody know him, like, what are we doing? What are we doing? You see, that's the definition of a Shakur hater, of a hater. How you gonna say a guy with over 1 million followers, nobody knows him? You gotta check yourself, my bro. Be honest with yourself. You're talking out of emotions, out of feelings, instead of talking out of honesty. We're not even talking about Shakur Stevenson. But then again, you want to talk about everything except the rules of boxing. That you don't want to talk about. That's why my response to you is, look what a Hall of Fame trainer is saying.
3 ways Roach should have won that fight. Took a knee. There was three different situations where 3 ways Roach should have won that fight. Took a knee, that was a standing 8 count, 100%. That was a knockdown. Then he turns and walks away. That the ref should have waved it off, and that should have been a TKO. And then his corner steps into the ring to wipe his face. That's a disqualification. Yeah, yeah. There's no way Roach shouldn't have walked out with that belt in his hands. There was three different.
You got it, Lloyd Banks. 1 million followers don't mean anything, but it does mean that those 1 million people know him. You just said nobody know him. 1 million people follow him. 1 million people watch his videos, watch his posts, comments, interact with him. That's 1 million people. That's a pretty big fan base. That's a pretty big fan base. Now, if you're on denial about that, cool. You could be a hater about that. But talk about what the trainer just said about this fight. Why you don't respond to that? You keep changing the subject to something else. Why is it? Look, again, I'll show y'all what Canelo Álvarez said. Look.
You need to he take a knee. You need to lose like 10-8 that round at least, no? And plus the corner go up and put it a towel in the face. That's a disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rules, but it's not my business.
So Lloyd Banks, when we do a live about Shakur, you can talk about Shakur. It's Tank Davis. It's his situation with him taking a knee, and all you want to do is talk about Shakur. So obviously Shakur owns some rent-free space in your head that you just want to talk about him. We're not talking about Shakur. We talking about what Canelo said and what Robert Garcia said. Yo, John Parham, what's the deal, my brother? So we're talking about this whole situation. You know, Robert Garcia, Canelo Álvarez already chimed in. They both, like I have been doing, talked about the rules of boxing. Appreciate it, John Parham. Yo, my peoples, y'all already know what it is, man. Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. This is straight up original boxing content. No bias, no hating, no fanboy stuff like my boy Lloyd Banks. Straight up acting like a tanker maniac out here. Nah, my peoples, we giving you the facts. We talking about things the way that they actually played out. We're not speculating. It's not about your opinion about who's good and who's not. Nah, my peoples, we're talking about the reality of what took place in this fight and how the boxing community is reacting. We got the real Tank fans who are also boxing fans, and they're saying, nah, man, look, I'm a Tank fan, but he lost. And then we have the Tanker maniacs like Lloyd Banks over here who just want to defend Tank no matter what and talk bad about every other fighter. Oh, this guy's a bum. Canelo Álvarez, the guy that's beat the most champions right now out of all the active fighters, he's a bum. Shakur Stevenson, he got over a million followers. Nobody knows him. Look, you see, so we got the Tanker maniacs, we got Tank fans who accept what really happened, and then we have the people within the sport of boxing who are telling us, hey, look, these are the rules. You know what I'm saying? They're telling us these are the rules. 16 Sammy, we're leeching on Tank name again. You're another Tanker maniac that's out there to defend Tank no matter what. This is the topic of conversation across every single YouTube channel because we're waiting on a decision to come through. That decision haven't been made. So what do you do, 16 Sammy? Do you go to every YouTube channel that does boxing and say, oh, y'all talking about Tank again? Y'all talking about... Like, that's what you do? You go around trying to defend Tank in every channel? Now, look. It's simple, my peoples. It's simple. How can we not talk about the most important people in boxing? Some of the most important people in boxing, they're talking about it. You know, you're going to go to Robert Garcia and tell him, oh, Robert Garcia, you leeching off a Tank's name. You're not going to do that. You come to the little guy on YouTube. Oh, you leeching. Look.
Three different
And
situations
and my peoples, John Parham, you've been out here for a minute. You know what I've been saying. And I'm going to show something Robert Garcia's saying. And I know you remember me saying exactly that. Watch this. Watch this. This
Three
is
ways.
this is exactly what I said yesterday and the day before yesterday. Look.
There was three different situations where three ways Roach should have won that fight. Took a knee, that was a standing 8 count, 100%. That was a knockdown. Then he turns and walks away. That the ref should have waved it off, and that should have been a TKO. And then his corner steps into the ring to wipe his face. That's a disqualification. Yeah. There's no way Roach shouldn't have walked out with that belt in his hands. There was three different situations where
16 Sammy. Coach Robert Garcia, who was awarded Trainer of the Year a few years back, who's going to the Hall of Fame as one of the best trainers of this generation, is telling you exactly what I told you. You're saying we talked about this yesterday. No, we did not. You didn't talk about it yesterday because all you kept doing is defending Tank by talking about other things. You never talked about the rules of boxing. You never talked about what should actually happen. You're doing the regular Tankomaniac routine where you defend Tank Davis by pointing at other fights and pointing at other people and talking about other things. Look, I wish they strip Tank so we can move on. Well, they're not going to make a decision unless they're following the rules. You talking about stripping Tank? Nah, I think that they should just follow the rules. If the rules say that they need to remove that point and award Lamont Roach that belt, then that's what they need to do. They're going to do what they have to. But right now, I've never defended Tank. That's the only thing that you've been doing, my brothers, defending Tank at all costs. That's the only thing that you've been doing, my brother. That's the only thing that you've been doing. And y'all keep saying, yo, not yeah. Only Tankomaniacs don't want to talk about it. Nah, I don't want to talk about this. Let's talk about something else. Yo, the whole world is talking about this. Podcasts that don't even do boxing are talking about this. Robert Garcia and Canelo Álvarez, they were asked about it yesterday. Gilly the King and Wallow are talking about this. And they not even a boxing podcast. So the reason, Lloyd Banks, I sound like a hater is because you're a Tankomaniac and you don't want to talk about the rules. You want to talk about Shakur. You want to talk why I don't box. You want to talk about everything except the rules. And what you have to understand, Lloyd Banks, 16 Sammy, and the rest of the Tank fans that are up in here, what you have to understand is that if the situation is under review right now, people are going to talk about it until a decision comes down. Because we're all waiting on it. What is the New York State Athletic Commission going to do? How are you going to tell people, yo, I know that we still waiting. We don't know what's going to happen, but don't talk about it. And it's even funnier that, you come to the small guy. I'm the small guy on YouTube, I don't have 1 million subscribers. I don't have 100,000 people on my live. You come here like, oh, you're still talking about it. You're still talking about it. But if it's Stephen A. Smith, if it's Zab Judah, if it's people that have a big podcast, if it's Gilly the King and Wallow, you don't go on their platform to tell them not to talk about it. That's what they're talking about. That's exactly what they're talking about, my peoples. So all I'm saying is, Robert Garcia said these words recently. This is not something that he said a week ago and we're just repeating it over and over. This is new. Why you don't want to talk about what Robert Garcia is saying? I don't know. Robert Garcia and Canelo Álvarez chimed in recently. My peoples, anybody who hit that like button, I appreciate it. Go ahead and subscribe. You're getting this original content. I know Lloyd Banks, you want to be a Tankomaniac. I'm not going to talk about other fighters anymore. I know you want to talk about other fighters and other fights, and you want to point everywhere else. But what we talking on in this live is this. Tell me about this.
three ways.
Tell me about this, Lloyd Banks.
There was three different situations where three ways Roach should have won that fight. Took a knee, that was a standing 8 count, 100%. That was a knockdown. Then he turns and walks away. That the ref should have waved it off, and that should have been a TKO. And then his corner steps into the ring to wipe his face. That's a disqualification. Yeah. There's no way Roach shouldn't have walked out with that belt in his hands. It was three different.
And 16 Sammy, I believe you. The folks you listen to call for a rematch because you listen to other Tank fans. You listen to people that are fans of Tank. Tell me what fighter out there hasn't said that the rules need to be followed. Of course, if you're listening to Tank fans and other Tankomaniacs like Lloyd Banks that want to talk about Shakur every day, of course. Yo, Shakur didn't fight on Saturday. He don't even got his next opponent yet. And this dude been talking about Shakur since the live started. Shakur owned rent-free space in his head. Meanwhile, the entire boxing community is waiting on this decision. Everybody, all right, 16 Sammy, if that bothers you, my bad. Oh, Superman, salute, my brother. Appreciate you dropping in. Okay, you're telling me be fair. So I'll be fair and specific. Tank Davis fans refuse to talk about the rules of boxing. Tank Davis fans want to talk about, look, you yourself, 16 Sammy, said, let's talk about something else. I'm just trying to move on. Bro, y'all the only people that's trying to move on. Everybody's talking about this. This is the biggest topic of conversation in boxing. And you want to move on. You want to talk about something else. You got the other Tank fan. Shakur's a bitch and Shakur's a bum. And why you don't box? Want to talk about everything else but the rules. Come on now. Why is it that y'all don't want to talk? That y'all look, 16 Sammy, you saying run it back. Cool. Run it back the rematch. But why you not addressing what Robert Garcia is saying on that video? Why you not addressing that? You have a world-class trainer telling you, yo, these 3 rules were broken. Roach should have walked out of there with the belt. Why you don't want to address that? That topic of conversation is what these people are saying. These are people that are high up in the boxing community. Robert Garcia has been performing at the highest level in boxing for years. Canelo Álvarez has been widely considered the face of boxing for years. They chime in, they give their opinion, and you still haven't said a single word about their opinion, my brother. Superman, yes, for sure. They want to push it under the rug, and that's what they're going to do. They're sad. You're right, Superman. You see what? 16 Sammy, that's what you're doing. You want to push it under the rug. You're like, let's talk about something else. No, the rematch. No, this. But you don't want to talk about the rules. Look, give him the win and Tank the loss and no rematch. You see? You being emotional about the subject. Rather than just saying, yo, the rules need to be followed. Let the rules do what they got to do. Tejan, will Turkey continue to have a positive influence on the sport? And Javier says, the ref will not get major fights again. That's something to be on the lookout for. Now, Tejan, will Turkey continue to have a positive influence on the sport? He's starting his own promotion with Dana White, and let's see how that's going to play out. Let's see. Now, I will say His Excellency Turkey Al Sheikh is making boxing great again. He's putting together great cards. He's making real good fights. And I hope that their boxing promotion is going to keep going with that trend. Unlaced says, run it back with Roach being the champion. Let's be fair. Salute, my brother. Yo, that's 100% fair. Roach is the champion. Run it back. I agree. Of course, they got to run it back. Because this is what we have to keep in mind, my peoples. Remember this. Tank Davis has a rematch clause in his contract. What does that mean for the fight? Simple. If the New York State Athletic Commission overturned the decision, then automatically Tank Davis has a rematch clause that he can enforce. And I promise you, if they give Tank Davis a loss and Lamont Roach the title, Tank Davis is going to activate that rematch clause immediately. ASAP. So we have to understand this is not a fight that is just going to be left in the background because some people don't want to talk about it. This is the main topic of conversation in every boxing page. Javier Hernandez, Roach trained hard to perform at this level, and he was robbed. A lot of people agree with you. A lot of people agree with you. And that's why I say the New York State Athletic Commission is on the hot seat. Because number one, if they side with Tank Davis and leave it as is, a lot of people are going to say boxing is fake. Boxing is rigged. This is a setup. They giving Tank preferential treatment because he's a star. And if they overturn the decision, pretty much every Tank Davis fan is going to be mad. So that's what I want you to understand. To my peoples who are Tank Davis fans, 16 Sammy, I want you to understand this, my brother. When it comes to this decision, it's Tank Davis fans and the whole world. The whole boxing community is saying the rules need to be followed. And then the group that is Tank Davis fans are like, nah, let's move on. The rematch, it needs to stay the same. Yo, y'all small, like compared to the whole boxing community, y'all a very small group, my brother. Because you're fans of one fighter. We're talking about fighters, trainers, promoters, everybody who's chimed in and talked about it is saying that the rules need to be followed, bro. Tank is the only one with fans. Come on, how are you gonna say that? Every fighter has fans. Every fighter has fans. Christopher Leden agreed. Boxing broke up over boxing age 60. Boxing is corrupt. It has been for years. I'm 50 years old and I've been in the sport and I have been watching just as long. I agree with you. We've seen a lot of things that you can attribute to corruption in boxing. But every fight outcome isn't corrupt. We see a lot of fights where people win fair and square, where people dominate their opponent, where people knock their opponents out. Now, we all have to remember the referee started counting. When Tank Davis took that knee, the referee started counting. Why did he stop counting? We'll never know. Pastor J, we need to find the commission number and call so they can overturn it. You can't even get in touch with those people. I was looking for their website. They don't even have a website that you can reach out to them. How Tank the only one with fans? I don't even know. I don't even know how somebody says Tank is the only guy with fans. Every fighter has fans. Even fighters we never heard of, they got fans. But we need to understand why the referee started counting and then he stopped. Now, I know that the referee's never going to put a public statement out to give us that explanation. But I promise you, the New York State Athletic Commission is going to interview him if they already haven't. And they're going to ask him, bro, when he took a knee, you started counting. You started following the rules. Why did you stop counting? You see, Christopher Leden, I'm not a fan of either. But there you have it. A knee is a knockdown. That's the thing, man. You see, this whole situation all breaks down to the knee. He took a knee. There was no countdown. The referee started counting, but he stopped. So there was no point deduction. So again, we got 60 in the building. My peoples, please hit that like button. You know why he stopped counting? I don't know why he stopped counting. They haven't given us an explanation. I don't know why. But I do know this. For those of you who already seen what Robert Garcia said, here you go again, my peoples.
This is where
Look.
three different situations where three ways Roach should have won that fight. Took a knee, that was a standing 8 count, 100%. That was a knockdown. Then he turns and walks away. That the ref should have waved it off, and that should have been a TKO. And then his corner steps into the ring to wipe his face. That's a disqualification. Yeah, yeah. There's no way.
Yo, we have a trainer telling us this. Now, Dustin Ewing, I don't know if you're lying or if they lied to you. Lamont Roach never took a knee. They were in a clinch. Tank Davis pushed him down by his neck and his back, put his weight on him, and dropped him to his knee. Lamont Roach got right back up, and they kept fighting. So that's actually a lie made up by Tank Davis fans. Lamont Roach never took a voluntary knee like Tank did. Stop spreading that lie, my brother. If you want to defend your favorite fighter, that's cool. You could defend them. You could rock with them. But you don't have to lie. Terrence Crawford never took a voluntary knee. He was trading shots with a fighter. They entangled each other, and Crawford went down to a knee and got right back up. That was not the same thing. You guys have to stop lying to try to defend Tank Davis. It makes you look bad. The fact that you got to make up lies, it makes you look bad because it shows that you don't care about the rules. You're even willing to lie. You're willing to make up a lie instead of just say, look, this is my guy. I'm rocking with him. Cool, my brother. If you want to rock with him, that's cool. Lamont Roach never took a knee. Stop spreading that lie, man. Don't be part of that. That's why they calling y'all the Tankomaniacs. I understand. I understand why they calling y'all the Tankomaniacs. Y'all out here embarrassing yourself, making up lies, and bringing up other fights that don't even have nothing to do with this. When you go on a chat and you make stuff up that is not true, and 16 Sammy, did you just see what he said? That Roach took a knee. And he's already adding up his own scorecard based on Roach taking a knee. When everybody knows Lamont Roach did not take a knee. Only, exclusively, Tank Davis fans are saying that Roach took a knee. Where are you coming? Stop making stuff up, my peoples. Stop doing that. Because when you lie, it just shows that you're wrong. If you need to make up a lie to defend your fighter, it shows that you're wrong. It shows that you cannot accept the truth. When somebody tells you the truth, you prefer to lie to defend it. By the way, I've been showing y'all what Robert Garcia said, but look what Canelo said. Look what Canelo's saying.
You need to he take a knee. You need to lose like 10-8 that round at least, no? And plus the corner go up and put it a towel in the face. That's a disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rules, but it's not my business.
I'm gonna remind y'all that Canelo Álvarez has said for the last 3 years that Tank Davis is his favorite fighter. He already said it. He said that Tank will beat Shakur, that Tank will beat everybody at 135, and that's his favorite fighter. So since you're saying that I'm a hater and I want Tank to lose and all that crazy stuff, are you saying that about Canelo too? Even though Canelo said Tank is his favorite fighter, are you saying that he's hating now because he's bringing up the rules? Come on now. We have to be honest, my peoples. We have to keep it 100. While everybody is trying to say, yo, the rules need to be followed for every fighter, Tank Davis fan, they just want to defend him no matter what. Defend, and more defend. But at the end of the day, it's all about the rules. Now, what is the New York State Athletic Commission going to do? I don't know. We're going to find out. Javier Hernandez says, Tank's demeanor changed when he started to get hit. He fought kind of dirty, and he still lost. A rematch will be a better fight. I agree with you, my brother. Because, you know what? What happened in that fight, man, Tank Davis, in a way he kind of underestimated Roach. He started off slow like he usually does. And the plan was to knock him out later on like he always does. and that just didn't happen. So when the knockout didn't come, you could see that Tank was getting frustrated. Yo, Tank got punched in the face twice while he was looking away trying to complain to the referee. Yeah, boom. Yeah, boom. Twice he got punched in the face trying to complain to the referee. And y'all remember when he hit Roach with the shoulder? He went like that. Put the shoulder in his face on purpose. Shoved him down into his knee by the neck like that. Pushed him down. So he was getting frustrated. When that knockout wasn't coming, when he was trying to counter and it just wasn't happening, he was getting frustrated out there. You see Superman? Boom! Boom! And by the way, my peoples, when the New York State Athletic Commission does their review, they get to see every angle of that ninth round. There's different cameras that are recording. They get to see every single one of them. There's already a camera angle out there that catches Tank Davis taking a punch to the eye, going like this, and taking a knee. That wasn't no hair grease. That was Lamont Roach's punch right inside the eyeball. It could have been Vaseline. The same Vaseline that they rub in the fighter's face every round. That could get in your face, and that burns. Infamous AWJ. Why does he start so damn slow? Hopefully he does next fight. And he doesn't adjust ever. Hopefully he does his next fight. You see, the thing is that Tank Davis, he's a power puncher. He hits very hard. We see him knock out most of his opponents. Has a very high knockout percentage. And I guess that's the plan. They plan to, just study him, break him down, and see exactly what he's doing, and eventually counterpunch him with a knockout punch. Lamont Roach was ready. Because look, with Tank Davis, hands down, man down. Lamont Roach kept them hands up for 12 rounds. He wasn't playing with that. And he frustrated Tank. He frustrated him. You could see, as a matter of fact, if you watch the fight, you'll notice after the 8th round, Tank is not smiling anymore. Those 4, 5, 6 rounds, he was smiling, looking away and smiling at people. The smiles ended. He stopped smiling and started getting frustrated. Talking about referee, boom, right in the eyeball. Infamous AWJ, but Smith, he can do all that while winning on points. He doesn't have to lose so many rounds, which is super risky. I agree with you, my brother. But look, I'll point out Frank the Ghost Martin versus Tank Davis. Tank lost the first 3 rounds on all 3 scorecards. Don't take my word for it. Google it. Google the scorecards and you'll see. With Ryan Garcia, I think he lost 2 out of the first 3 rounds. So I agree with you 100%. He should start a little bit faster. He loses rounds early on, but it doesn't really matter because he's going to knock you out later. But what happens when he doesn't knock you out? We saw it. You're getting frustrated. You're complaining to the ref. Getting punched in the face while you're looking at the referee. That's why. Broke up over boxing, 860. You should know by now, it doesn't take that long. The New York State Athletic Commission is letting this drag out. So the opinion of us yelling, don't overturn, means nothing. I agree with you. Listen, the New York State Athletic Commission, they're not going to make a decision based on what we want. They're not. But they are on the hot seat, my brother, and they are under pressure. You know why? Because the entire boxing community is saying that Lamont Roach should have won that fight. That's what it's like I said before, it's Tank Davis fans and the entire boxing community. This small group just want the rematch and don't want nothing to be overturned, but it's a big group of people putting on that pressure, my brother. And now you have Canelo Álvarez, you have Robert Garcia, you have a lot of people who already spoke about it, and they're saying, yo, they need to give this man his win. You see? Nah, my brother, a lot of people, you saying a lot of people are calling it a draw. Be specific. Tank Davis fans are calling it a draw. Not a lot of people, my brother. Show me a YouTube channel where, or one of the trainers or one of the fighters that are saying it should be a draw. Show me one. For one fighter that you told me, that you showed me, that he's saying it should be a draw, I'll show you 10, 20 that are saying, nah, yo, Roach got cheated. You could even see what the fighters are tweeting. Yo, Roach got cheated. Roach got cheated. Infamous AWJ. I feel like this particular fight, he should have adjusted and not do what he does to other opponents like Frank and Ryan. They know each other well, and Lamont Roach was way more ready. It says a lot. And I agree with you. I think what plays a factor in this whole situation is that Lamont Roach was moving up from 135. And usually guys, when they're moving up, they're facing someone who's a lot stronger than they are. Tank Davis, the hardest puncher in the division. I felt like to him, he could knock out Tank. He could knock out Lamont Roach. Unlace says, I can't find one channel. That's what I'm saying. I can't find anybody saying that it's okay, they should just do the rematch and not overturn. I can't find anybody. Exclusively, I only see Tank Davis fans with that point of view. This is what I'm hearing from Tank Davis fans. And let me tell you something. Because I go on other YouTube channels and I listen to what the fans are saying. It's not just over here. Tank fans, in every YouTube channel that I go to, they're saying, just do the rematch. Don't overturn it. Lamont Roach took a knee too. That's fake news. They point at other fighters. Oh, Bud took a knee. Floyd Mayweather once upon a time took a knee. And Canelo versus Lara should be overturned. Yo, Tank Davis fans are saying the same things across all social media. Taking the same strategy of refusing to acknowledge the rules. Broke up over boxing 860. You're right. But Sean Porter said this. They know each other, but Roach did not do enough to beat him and called it a draw. But bro, remember, he's calling it a draw based off of the scorecards, not based off of the point deduction. So if you accept the draw, cool. The point deduction has Lamont Roach as the winner. It has him as the winner. Infamous AWJ, you're making a good point. I'm upset, man, because I'm a Tank fan, but I've been getting upset while losing respect. Like him not wanting to fight Shakur and those guys. I agree with you, my brother. You see, what a lot, only Tankomaniacs. Listen, infamous AWJ. A lot of people don't realize this because I'm siding with the rules. I'm defending the rules of boxing. I'm a fan of Tank Davis too, man. I've been following Tank Davis since before he was a world champion. I watch all of his fights. I follow Tank. I'm a fan of his. You know, I'm not happy with some of his opponent's selection. I don't like the fact that he hasn't faced any of the best fighters. I always, I love Tank as a fighter. He's exciting to watch. I love what he brings to the table. I just don't like his opponent's selection. The opponents that he often selects. Somebody told me this yesterday, and I agree. Lamont Roach was a cherry gone wrong. He's a guy who was brought up from a lower division to get knocked out. And he didn't follow the script. As simple as that, my peoples. Lamont Roach was supposed to get beat up. I'm going to remind y'all that Lamont Roach was a 20-1 underdog. Bro, a 20-1 underdog versus Tank Davis, the hardest puncher in the division, is supposed to get knocked out within 5 rounds. A 20-1 underdog. You're a cherry gone wrong. You're not supposed to go the distance. You're not supposed to get a draw. And by the way, a lot of us seen Lamont Roach winning even without the knee. Without the knee, I saw him winning. Because I saw him winning the first 4 rounds easily. Easily he won the first 4 rounds. For it to be a draw, it would mean that Tank Davis won 6 out of the last 8 rounds. Does anybody believe that Tank won 6 out of the last 8? That's wow. That's crazy work. It was after the 4th round that Tank Davis was looking at the referee getting punched in the eye. That was after the 6th round, my people, that he was taking them punches. So all I'm saying is we're looking at great trainers, great fighters, focus on the decision and say the rules were not followed. Yo, you got your trainer going on the apron mid-round while the clock is ticking. I told you that's grounds for a disqualification. And people say you don't know what you're talking about. Well, now you got Robert Garcia telling you the same thing. Robert Garcia is telling us the same thing that I try to say. Macklin, just because they had him under the underdog don't mean he is. Just like stuff going to whoop Canelo but lose. So the point of the underdog, my brother, is that over 90% of the time, the underdogs get their ass whooped. It's just that simple. You see Dustin Ewing, how you had him 8-4. That's how I had him too. I had Lamont Roach winning 8 rounds. But what you're saying, Mac McLean, the underdog, you're making a very good point. It doesn't mean that they are, but you got to remember that the underdog is about making bets. It's about betting. So, for example, if you go to Vegas, if they're willing to pay you 20-1 for Lamont Roach, that means that they're sure he's going to lose. They were sure he was going to get his ass whooped. And look what happened. Yo, I'm going to put it to you like this, man. I know people, keep that in mind, my peoples. I know people who bet money on Tank Davis knocking them out by the 5th round. So as soon as the 6th round hit, they lost their money. They were betting lines for Tank knocking them out by the 5th. John Parham, I bet the odds won't be 20-1 next time. Hell no. Hell no. Promoters, let me see. Javier Hernandez, promoters already have plans for Tank. If he loses fight, promoters lose a lot of money. I mean, we're going to see. JJ Zendejas, good morning. Thank you for sharing knowledge. God bless you. Tank lost. I watched boxing for a very long time. The rules are the rules. I appreciate you, my brother. Salute. And that's what I'm talking about. There's a lot of fans who are going by the rules. The majority of the fans, if we, for a moment, without counting Tank Davis fans, the majority of boxing fans want to go by the rules. Renz Gavin Ratuno, what's good, my brother? The majority of boxing fans, they want to go by the rules. Salute, my brother. They want to go. And look, for those people who join us, by the way, anybody who hit, damn, it's 50-something of us, man, and only 13 people hit that like button. Why you got to do me like this? Hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Straight up original boxing content, my people. No bias. Just real talk. Again, for those of you who joined last, this is what Robert Garcia said.
There was three different situations where 3 ways Roach should have won that fight. Took a knee, that was a standing 8 count, 100%. That was a knockdown. Then he turns and walks away. That the ref should have waved it off, and that should have been a TKO. And then his corner steps into the ring to wipe his face. That's a disqualification. Yeah. There's no way Roach shouldn't have walked out with that belt in his hands. There was three different situations.
I mean, come on, my peoples. If you didn't want to take it from me when I told you that same thing, you can at least take it from a trainer who's been trainer of the year. At least. And you know what? You're right, go get that money. It's only Tank fans who don't want to go by the rule book. Everybody else is saying, yo, follow the rules. Scratchy back. I don't see why they don't do the rematch in the next 6 months. It's not even gonna take 6 months. I think they're gonna do the rematch like in May. I think they're gonna do the rematch like in May. And look, when it comes to this decision, whether or not they overturn it, yo, I appreciate everyone who hit that like button, everyone who subscribed. I promise you, my peoples, whether or not they leave the decision as is or they overturn it, there's gonna be a rematch. Look at that Black Jericho. Roach is a cherry gone wrong because he had other champs to fight in the division, and he chose to bring up a smaller guy with no stake in the weight class to fight him. That's what I said. He a cherry gone wrong. He didn't follow the script. He went up there and put hands on Tank when he was supposed to get knocked out. According to betting odds, he wasn't even supposed to make it the distance. He a cherry gone wrong. He a cherry gone wrong. You picked the wrong guy to cherry pick. But my peoples, once again, this decision is going to come down. And when it does, it's going to be controversial no matter what. No matter what they decide is going to be controversial. Some people want it to stay the way that it is. And some people want it to be overturned because we want the rules to be followed. And all I say is this, and I've been saying this to Tank David fans. Imagine if from here on out, all boxers could just take a knee and pause the action whenever they wanted to. Don't you think that will ruin the sport of boxing? Imagine that. I had something in my eye. I had to take a knee. Time out. You imagine your boxing turned into that? Boxing will be shit. You will stop seeing knockouts. As soon as guys get hurt, they're going to take a couple of steps back. Oh, now look, I took a knee on my own. It wasn't from the punch. Would you like to see that happen in boxing? Broke over boxing 860. Are we saying that if the fighter is not knocked out by Tank, he loses? No. We're saying that if there's a point deduction, Tank lost the fight on the scorecards. That's what we're saying. Why do you keep calling Roach a cherry pick? Do you know boxing? I mean, I'm not going to tell you that I know boxing. You can decide on your own. I'm not the type of person that I like to give credit to myself. You can listen to me. You can listen to what I'm saying. You can watch some of my videos. And you can determine if I know boxing. But I'm saying that Roach is a cherry because he was moved up from a lower division. There's champions right there where Tank is at. He chose to bring a smaller guy to come up and fight him. He was a 20-1 underdog. That makes him a cherry pick. I never said that Roach is not a good fighter or a top-notch fighter or an elite level fighter. I never discredited Lamont Roach. All I said is that Tank Davis picked a guy from the 130 division to fight him when he got guys right there where he's at 135. He got guys where he's at. You're saying the betting odds for Vegas? Yo, Tank Davis was the favorite in every state. What are you talking about? It's not just for Vegas. Every bookie, every place where you could bet had him as the favorite. There is nobody in the whole country who had Lamont Roach as the favorite. Nobody. So you're saying Vegas? Nah, bro. Lamont Roach was the betting underdog in the whole planet, in planet Earth. If there was somebody betting outside of planet Earth, Tank was also the favorite. If aliens was out there betting on this fight, Tank was the favorite. Not just in Vegas, my brother. You saying we knows who runs the odds in Vegas. But like I told you, my brother, the odds in Vegas are very telling. Because Vegas They don't make odds to lose. They make odds to win. If they're paying you 20-1 to Lamont Roach, that means that those people were sure Lamont Roach was gonna lose, my brother. 20-1, you ought to pay out a lot of money if he win. You imagine somebody bet $1 million on Lamont Roach, he's getting $20 million back. 20-1 underdog. Yo, bro, there's very, very smart people who put them odds together. That's why if you look at 10 fights, the underdog is going to lose in 9 of them, maybe in all 10 of them. The underdog rarely wins, my brother. These people know what they're doing with those odds. They know. They take a lot of stuff into consideration. They don't just only consider that Lamont Roach is a champion and that he's a good fighter. They consider that he's making his debut in the 130 division. They consider that Tank Davis beat him twice as an amateur. They consider that Tank Davis is a knockout artist and Lamont Roach isn't. All of that goes into consideration. When I made my prediction, I predicted that Lamont Roach was going to get knocked out. And you know why I made that prediction? Because I said, you know what? Lamont Roach doesn't got the power to keep Tank Davis off of him. Eventually, Tank is going to catch him. Little did I know that Lamont Roach was going to stand there toe-to-toe trading with Tank Davis and making him miss at point-blank range. I didn't know he was going to do that. But he did. He absolutely did. Go get that money. Tank thought him beating Roach in the amateur boxing was sweet. Thought he could do the same thing in the pros. Superman. Chamberlain was his name, and Padley knocked him out. He was the favorite. Black Jericho. Padley can't be a cherry. Padley can't be a cherry if Dude Shakur was supposed to fight, pulled out 3 days before Shakur. Shakur was lucky to get a replacement. That's one thing. When it comes to Josh Padley, I'm actually a fan of him. He saved the day. Shakur would not have fought that Saturday, would not have an opponent. And you know what? Josh Padley, that's the guy that dreams are made of, my peoples. I already follow him on social media. You know why Josh Padley is what dreams are made of? Because this guy has his day job and he was staying ready. He was training. He was close to making weight even without having an opponent lined up. So when he got that call and they say, yo, can you make weight by Saturday? He was like, yup. Right now I'm weighing like 138. I could make 3 pounds. Easy. So guess what? That's why they tell fighters you always got to stay ready. You know why? Because if you're a casual boxing fan, you're going to discredit him. You're going to talk him down. That guy's my hero. You know why? He changed his life around, my peoples. From one day to the next, he became a bigger star. He got a bunch of followers on social media. He got a big-ass contract. Now he got a multi-fight contract with Matchroom. And His Excellency Turkey Al Sheikh even got him a new home. The guy changed his life around. Changed his life around with that one fight that he was ready. When that call came, he was ready. So I give Josh Padley all the respect in the world. What happens is that we're in a new society where, oh, well, you know, if you take a loss, you're a bum. If you're not a superstar, you're a bum. If you're not one of the best in the world in the pound for pound list, you're nobody. But yo, Josh Padley is the dream of most boxers. You know how many fighters already got 20, 25, 30 fights and they still hoping to get a title shot? They still hoping to get in the big stage? This guy just got a phone call out of nowhere. Then went to work like a normal day and woke up to find out that now he's going to fight Shakur Stevenson in the biggest stage. Come on. I appreciate Padley. I'm a fan of the guy, bro. While people disrespecting him and calling him an electrician, this guy changed his life around. I wish I could have an opportunity like Josh Padley. Somebody could give me a call and change my life around that same day. I, when it comes to this boxing shit, my peoples, I gotta get it from the mud. I gotta get follower by follower, one by one, two by two, until I get to where I'm going. No opportunities given. Nobody's putting me on. And trust me, my peoples, I know a lot of fighters. I know a lot of coaches. You'll be surprised with the people I know. But they doing their own thing. Everybody doing their own business. So I can't expect for somebody to just put me on. Look, I'm gonna show you something, my people, so y'all can see. Look, that's my Instagram. That's my Instagram right there. Look at my Instagram stories. I'm gonna show y'all. My people. You see that story? The New York State. You see that story? I'm talking about the same thing we talking about right now, the commission. Now, look who's seen that story, my peoples. Look at Lamont Roach right there. Lamont Roach seen that story. Look, that's Lamont Roach, Keyshawn Davis, Clarissa Shields, Andy Ruiz, who's an ex-world champion. And let me show you who else. Oops, there we go. Look at Eddie Hearn right there. Look at Danny Garcia right there. So for those people who ask me, do you know boxing? Well, do you think I only got, look, I want to show you something else, by the way, my peoples. Yo, I only got 500 followers on Instagram. 500 followers. So I'm a nobody, basically. Do you think that some of the biggest names in the boxing world are going to be checking out my stories if I don't know what the hell I'm talking about? You got to ask yourself that question. And it's not only, like, I could show you receipts, my people. Look at the last story that I posted. Shakur Stevenson. You can see Shakur Stevenson, Lamont Roach, Clarissa Shields. I can even find stories where Bud Crawford checked them out. I could find stories where Dimitri Bivol, Arthur Beterbiev, Manny Pacquiao. These people ain't going to be watching what I have to say if I don't know what the hell I'm talking about, bro. Come on. There's a reason why. You saying broke up over boxing? Of course, people share everything I share. You everywhere. It's not that I'm everywhere, my brother. You watch who you want to watch. So let me give you an example. If you send me a story, I could watch it. But if I think you don't know what you're talking about, if I think you're some type of goofball, I ain't going to watch it no more. You could get me once to watch a story. But if I watch it and to me they don't know what they're talking about, I'm not going to keep watching it. That's it. These people watch my stories day after day after day. This whole situation that's going on with the New York State Athletic Commission, they watching what I have to say about it every day. Go Get That Money says Roach had that punching power. That's why Tank couldn't do what he wanted to do. People think Tank wasn't focused. Nah, Tank was focused. Tank just couldn't treat him like his previous opponents. Yo, you're 100% right, my brother. That's why I say that Lamont Roach was a cherry gone wrong. Because nobody expected to see that version of Lamont Roach. Normally, smaller guys move up and they don't carry power up there with them. If you didn't have power in one division, you ain't bringing up no pop. Lamont Roach had pop in them hands. And I think, to be honest, my peoples, that Lamont Roach, he caught Tank Davis by surprise when he decided to stand right there and trade leather with him. Because nobody usually does that. When Tank Davis start letting them hands go, people usually jump on that bicycle. They jump on them skates. They start moving around. At no time during this fight did Tank Davis have Lamont Roach running around. Tank was never able to put him in the ropes. Ever. At no point was Lamont Roach's back on the ropes or in the corner. That never happened in the whole fight. in the whole fight. So we're talking about a guy who's coming down from a lower division, who a lot of people thought that Tank Davis was going to chase him around and eventually catch him and knock him out. And that just didn't happen. Roach surprised all of us. All of us, my people. Nobody was expecting this guy to come up from the 130 division and stand toe-to-toe, blow for blow with the hardest puncher in the division. I think we all agree nobody hit harder than Tank Davis at 135. There is nobody who got that type of power. Nobody in the 135 division is blowing guys out with one shot, boom, go to sleep. Ain't nobody doing that. The knockout that we saw of Tank Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz, the knockout that we saw of Tank Davis versus Rolly Romero, one shot, boom. We're not seeing that in the 135 division. Yoda says Roach was clearly quicker on the draw. 100% right. He was not just quicker on the draw, he was ready for those counter punches. That when Tank Davis loaded up, boom, and let off that left hook that he knocked people out with, Roach was waiting for it. Boom. Roach was not getting hit with clean shots. He wasn't. JJ Zendejas, I'm from Woodward, California. Lots of old fighters and history. I have been watching boxing for a long time, and I have a lot of knowledge in boxing. Keep up the good work. Salute, my brother. I appreciate it. I don't like to tell people, I know boxing, because at the end of the day, it's easy for everybody says, a lot of people say, I've seen people say, I know boxing. And when I listen to them, they clearly don't know shit about boxing. So I myself, I don't even like to say I know boxing. I let people listen to me and I let you decide. Do you think I know? I'll let you make your own opinion. Aaron Hollis, it's gonna happen the next time. Tank is gonna kill him the next time. We shall see. But Aaron, why I don't agree with you? Because we watched the whole 12th round of Tank Davis and Lamont Roach. Tank didn't drop him, not even once. Tank didn't even hurt him. You never saw Roach's knees buckle or anything like that. So if he went 12 rounds with Tank Davis and was never hurt, not even once, why would I think that the next time he's just going to knock him out? I don't see that happening, my brother. Yoda, who has Tank fought in the top 10 at 135? Ask Tank Davis fans. Ask Tank Davis fans. We know the answer to that. Who has he fought that are considered the best fighter in the divisions, in any division he's been on? We already know the answer to that question. Javier Hernandez. In boxing, you cannot underestimate opponents. I got beat up by a 100-pound skinny kid behind the Hyatt in a parking lot. 2 minutes later, he beat my worst rematch. It was fun. It happens. It happens in boxing all the time. Somebody's underestimated, somebody's supposed to lose, and they surprise everybody. They let their hands go in a real way that we didn't think was going to happen. You see what I'm saying? Lamont Roach let his hands go in a real way, my peoples. Aaron Hollis, I think Tank was distracted by something. It could be, but then that would be speculation. I'm going to remind y'all that when a fighter is used to knocking everybody out, when he used to dominating, bullying his opponents in the ring, when he's not able to do that, it's going to look different. When you ever seen Tank Davis complaining to the referee? He was frustrated. We never seen Tank Davis frustrated. When you ever seen Tank Davis, referee? We ain't never seen that. Him getting punched in the face while he's complaining to the ref. He got hit twice like that. When he tried to look away. Remember, my peoples, protect yourself at all time? He wasn't doing that because Roach was frustrating him. Get That Money says, see, Tank couldn't get him to fall into his trap. Roach didn't tire himself out. There you have it. And I believe that was Tank. That's what Tank was waiting for. Roach wasn't backpedaling the whole night. Facts, my brother. That's what I've been telling people. We thought that Roach was going to have, like everybody else, 2, 3, 4 good rounds. And then it was going to be a wrap. He was going to start running. Tank was going to chase him and eventually catch him with a nasty knockout punch and knock him out brutally. That didn't happen. Roach was in his face like white on rice. Roach was in his face like flies on shit. Just all over him for 12 rounds. That's how he frustrated him. That's how he frustrated him. All in his face, my peoples. The picture of Tank running away is crazy. Black Jericho says Roach should have followed Tank to the corner and kept beating him. He should have did that because like you can't call a timeout. He could have actually done that. But the thing is, you know why Roach didn't do that? Because when Tank Davis took a knee, remember, the referee started counting. So what Roach did when the referee started counting, he started walking to his corner. He didn't know the referee was going to stop counting and just give him a timeout and let him take a timeout. JJ Zendeja says, protect yourself at all times. That's another rule in boxing. You're right, my brother. That's why when Tank turned around and walked away, like Robert Garcia said, that could have been a TKO stoppage right there. Yoda, to Chase, take his fall into his Tank, wanted him to fall into his trap. Roach stuck to the script. That's 100% facts. Roach wasn't falling for it. In fact, if y'all remember, and this was after the knockdown in round number 10, Tank did this, like 2 different times. Well, look, he just stood there like this. Paused like that. Waiting for Roach. Roach didn't fall for that. Instead of Roach just going in and letting his hands go, kept putting that stick on his face, that jab, bang, bang. Yo, Roach was not trying to fall for no traps at all. And he was successful. He was 100%. That's why we got to give Lamont Roach his flowers. You got it. You got it. You came through with the perfect game plan and you executed. The guy who knocks everybody out with a counter shot could not land that counter shot. Something that I also want to point out, my people, that Roach did that I've never seen nobody do to Tank. How many people Tank Davis counter punch with his left hook, boom, and they actually slip it and counter punch him, boom? Who does that? Who counter punches Tank's counter punch? You ever seen that shit? Bro, I never seen no fighter counter punch Tank Davis power counter punch, ever. When people taste that counter punch, boom, they go on retreat mode. This man Lamont Roach was putting hands on Tank while Tank was trying to land his power shots. We ain't never seen that, my peoples. And Tank Davis is one of the best counter punchers in the game. And you're going to stay in the pocket and counter punch with him? You're going to have Tank Davis backing up from you? Are you serious? Are you serious? Lamont says Mayweather helped out Roach on the low. To be honest, I heard rumors about that, but I don't know if it's true. I can't confirm that it's true. It could be, because Roach was damn ready for everything Tank had to offer. But this guy had Tank Davis backing up and doing lateral movement for 12 rounds. You got Tank Davis running. You moved up from the 135 division and you got Tank Davis backing down from you. Bro, Tank Davis wanted to fight Lamont Roach in a football field. Lamont Roach wanted to fight Tank Davis inside of a phone booth. Who could have expected that? Who? JJ's and Dejas. When you counterpunch a counterpuncher, you're very confident in your skills. That's a fact, bro. You very, very confident. Because when you trading leather at close range like that, Tank Davis catch you with the right one, you're going straight to Valhalla. You're going to meet your maker. It's a rap like Reynolds. Aaron Hollis, what did Floyd have to say about the fight? I think Floyd hasn't spoken out publicly. There's a conversation that's going around on social media that's supposedly elite, but that looks fake to me right away. That looks super fake. Because who the hell memorized the whole conversation between Floyd and Tank and then posted or typed it down? Like, that seems mad fake. So far, it looks like Floyd has not commented on it. West does it. Boogeyman ain't boogeyman if you grew up with him. You're right. Cypher 22. Peace, brother. Appreciate you, my guy. And you're right about that. That guy who's the boogeyman, if you really know him and you know his weaknesses, you know, you've been around him, you don't see him as the boogeyman. Lamont Roach is the only guy who believed in himself. And his team, of course. They came through with the game plan and they executed. But the whole world saw him as the underdog who was there to get knocked out. My prediction was wrong. I predicted Tank Davis was going to knock him out by or before the 8th round. But guess what? Listen to this, my peoples. I predicted Tank Davis was going to knock him out, right? Yo, by the 4th round, I already knew I was watching something different. I already knew that this is not the same. This is not the usual Tank Davis fight. This guy has Tank Davis backing up. And every time Tank Davis stand his ground, he stand his ground with him. We watching something different. This is not what we used to seeing. Lamont. Also, he was arguing in his corner. He didn't listen to them, and Coach Calvin and him are not good with each other. That's something that we gotta understand what's going down. There is something up between Tank Davis and Coach Cal. Even at the end of the fight, you could see that Tank Davis was ignoring him. So it seems like they got some friction, something going on over there. But Coach Cal been there since Tank was a little kid, since the amateurs. That's been his guy. So it's crazy to see someone else leading in the corner other than Coach Cal. So let's see. We'll find out. We may find out what's going on with that. Go Get That Money says, I believe Steve Willis didn't make the knockdown call due to his safety because Steve lives in New York and rides the trains. It could be. It could be. You could be right. Matter of fact, I'm going to put it to you like this. I'll go a step further. When Tank got his face wiped in the middle of the round, he could have been disqualified. Yo, if the referee would have disqualified them, that whole arena could have erupted. Shit could have been mayhem. People was going to go berserk. They was going to have to take him and hide him somewhere and sneak him out of the arena. Like, this is the biggest fighter. This is the biggest fight right now. This is one of the biggest stars of boxing, and you disqualify him? It could have been real ugly. Real ugly. But I would have been bad or bro. It would have been, it would have went down nasty over there. You disqualified this dude in Brooklyn. It might have even been a riot. It would have broke out inside the arena. Then people would have been fighting in the parking lot. It could have been crazy. A disqualification could have been crazy up in that arena. So that may have been something like, oh, wait a minute, I gotta let this thing continue. I'm from over here. That could have been it too. Because you got to remember, we're all human beings. We're not perfect. But the referee knows that he made a mistake because he started counting. When he started counting, it shows you that he knows the rule about fighter taking a knee. And he stopped counting. He knows the rule about a corner helping a fighter mid-round, and he did nothing. So you got to see when he talked with the New York State Athletic Commission what he's going to tell them. Is he going to say, well, I didn't keep counting because I was scared for my life, or I didn't keep counting because I wasn't sure about the rule? What is he going to say? Javier Hernandez, Joe Cortez, or Mills Lane will have raised hand, a new champ. They pick ref from the 10th row. Yo, listen, somebody like Mills Lane would have disqualified Tank Davis the moment he turned his back. TKO, you done. You done. Mills Lane used to say it. I'm firm, but I'm fair. There's another coach that says that, I think. Superman says, I'm going to try to watch those fights in Times Square in a few months. My brother, I'm so excited. I'm not going to be able to watch in person, but I'm so excited about those fights. His Excellency Turkey Al Sheikh, that's why I say he's making boxing great again. We're talking about Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney on the same card, and who else? Teofimo, Devin Haney, and Ryan Garcia, all on the same card. That's fire. That is super fire, my peoples. And then and they're all gonna be fighting tough opponents. Cause I tell you, Barboza is looking real confident, like he's gonna whoop Teofimo's ass. Barboza looking like he's ready to put all type of hands on Teofimo. Rollies and Ryan Garcia, you know they got history. We all seen the viral sparring session where they was trying to knock each other heads off. This fight is going to be an extension of that. They're going to be trying to knock each other heads off. And then Devin Haney, he's fighting Jose Ramirez. Jose Ramirez got popped in both hands. Devin Haney's coming off of taking that beating from Ryan Garcia. How is he going to react when he get hit? Because you're going to get hit. Is his punch resistance going to be good? Or is he going to go down from a shot? So that's a heck of a fight. That's a heck of a card in Times Square. Claymore Rain. I'm right because I'm final. I'm not final because I'm right. Rest in peace, Mills Lane. Yo, Mills Lane, man, that was one of the greatest referees of all time. He was a judge as well. And, you know, I love watching him work. You know what I loved, Claymore Rain? You know what I loved the most about Mills Lane? That he let the fighters fight. He never tried to become the star of the show by, you know, interjecting his own energy. I remember fighters would be clinched and he used to be fight out, fight out. Let him go fight. And I love those type of referees that they let the fighters fight. There's referees that they want to be the star of the show and they want to intervene and they want to be seen. Mills Lane was about letting them trade hands with each other. JJ Zendejas, if he says he doesn't know the rules, he shouldn't be a ref. I mean, I gotta say he knows the rules because when Tank Davis took a knee, he started counting. We just gotta understand why he chose not to keep counting. Clarence McLean, No Duck Zone Podcast. Franklin, May 2nd on Friday. If you could give us some details on that, my brother. I'm not sure what you're referring to. Clarence McCain, just subscribe. Yo, salute. I appreciate you, my brother. Y'all already know what it is, my peoples. I'm giving y'all an honest opinion, an honest take. No bias, no hating, no clickbait, no cap. I'm calling it how I see it. That's why I say the New York State Athletic Commission, they're on the hot seat, my peoples. They're on the hot seat because they're going to have to make a decision soon enough. And no matter what they decide to do, it's going to be controversial. If they decide to leave it as is, a lot of people are gonna say, well, boxing is corrupt, boxing is scripted, they favoring Tank Davis, they let him take a knee. Well, everybody should be able to take a knee from here on out. But if they decide to overturn it, you're gonna piss off every Tank Davis fan, and everybody on that side is gonna be pissed. Is gonna be upset about it. So no matter what the New York State Athletic Commission does, somebody's gonna be pissed. Franklin Mesa, the ref made a mistake. Let's see what the Athletic Commission is gonna do about it. We have to see. So West does it says fast moments sometimes don't leave time to make a sound judgment. I mean, that's reasonable. That's perfectly reasonable. We have to wonder though, because he started counting already, what caused him to stop counting. Mario Carrero, first time watching your channel and you spit the truth. But we all know Roach won that fight against Tank. Tank had the judges and the refs in his pocket. I hope they overturn and give Roach the W. Mario Carrero, first of all, I appreciate you giving me credit on the channel. I hope you subscribe and see that, this is all I do. And I agree with you 100%, my brother. As far as wanting the decision to be overturned, because that's what's fair for boxing. That's what's fair. What's fair is fair. Let's follow the rules. Follow the rules of boxing, my peoples. Everybody who hit that like button, I appreciate it. I see some more people subscribe to the channel. Yo, salute to you, my peoples. I promise you, yo, I'm somebody who love the sport of boxing. I'm not here to take sides. I'm not here to discredit anybody. Y'all may notice I don't disrespect the fighters. I don't disrespect the fans. And I don't even want everybody to agree with me. We have our own opinion. If you don't agree with me, that's okay. We can debate. As a matter of fact, if you think about it, if we all agreed, if we all had the same opinion, what the hell are we going to talk about? We all just going to say, yes, it's true. Yes, it's true. Yes, you're right. Nah, we don't need to agree on everything. Some of you who agree with me right now, when another fight comes up, you might disagree with me. I might disagree with you. But it's about, that's what having a conversation, that's what having a debate is all about. Whether we agree or not, let's talk about it. And let's see why we disagree. What I can tell you, the reason I feel like this decision needs to be overturned is because whatever the Athletic Commission does is going to set a precedent, my peoples. Once you say, it's okay, we're going to leave it like that, what's going to happen when the next fighter take a knee? Are you going to have to leave it like that? Because if you don't, they're immediately going to point out at Tank Davis and say, wait a minute, he took a knee and he didn't have a deduction. Why I get a deduction? Because I'm not a big star? Because I don't have a fan base? Claymore Rain, we need to celebrate agreeing to disagree more often. Man, salute to you, my brother. You always dropping jewels. That's how it is, my peoples. Disagreeing with each other is what makes for an interesting debate. When we disagree, we can have an interesting conversation. We can share different talking points. That's what makes it interesting. If we all agree, this conversation will be whack as hell. If everybody up in here agree with what I'm saying, well, my peoples, I guess we all agree. Peace out. Let me get out of here. We don't got nothing to talk about. We all agreed already. Disagreeing is what makes the conversation interesting. It's what makes the conversation passionate. Because you truly feel a certain way and I feel differently. Well, let's talk about it. Let's goddamn talk about it. See what I'm saying? Now it's 50 of us up in here. So I'm asking y'all, give me your opinion. Should the New York State Athletic Commission overturn this decision, or should they leave it as is? Y'all tell me, my people. Simple question. Should the commission overturn and award the win to Lamont Roach, or should they leave it as is and just wait for the rematch? Javier Hernandez. There were times I wanted a timeout in the ring and the streets. It ain't happening. You're right, my brother. There's no such thing as a timeout. So the first one to vote, Black Jericho, overturn it. We don't need timeouts in boxing. That's one person who chimes in. Rick Sanchez, how can you say even if it was ruled a knee that Tank wouldn't have came back and knocked him out or anything? I don't think so. And you were right. It was the WBA who said it. Ah, Rick Sanchez, you see, I was right. Remember that I told you yesterday. I don't remember if we spoke yesterday or before yesterday. I never cap, my brother. I don't cap. If I tell you it's like this, yo, you could put your hands in fire and say, yeah, Jay says it's like that, it's like that. I don't make stuff up. I don't speculate. If I tell you something, I promise you, I'm giving you the real. Now, you're saying, how do I know what Tank would have did? You think Tank wasn't trying to knock him out, my brother? Look at round number 10, round number 11, how Tank was letting them hands go with everything he had. Tank was absolutely trying to knock him out, Rick Sanchez. He just could not do it. He just couldn't. That's what Tank was trying to do. On Lace says, overturn it. JJ Zendeja says, overturn it. Young Noble says, overturn it. Mario Caro says, overturn and give the W to Roach. Superman, that's speculation. If people say that about him coming back and getting a KO, that's cap. Come on now. Come on now. You can speculate. Well, Tank would have knocked him out. Tank would have knocked him out if it was a knockdown. Bro, he was trying to knock him out. He just couldn't do it. He really was trying. Jack Kings, overturning Roach, got the win. Go get the money. Does the fight make more if it stays a draw than if they overturn it in Roach's favor? I mean, the money's going to be the same for the fighters whether they overturn it or not. The only difference is, and that's what I was trying to tell my brother Rick Sanchez yesterday, the WBA wants Tank Davis to be the champion. Because think about it, my peoples. They get paid a percentage from the purse the champion makes. Tank Davis is the highest paid fighter in the 135 division. So they make the most money if Tank Davis is the champion. If Lamont Roach is the champion, they're going to make not even half the amount of money that they make with Tank Davis. Because Lamont Roach makes substantially less money than Tank. So, of course, the WBA is going to say, yeah, we're good with the decision. It's good. Let's just wait for the rematch. But we think the referee is okay what he did. Of course, they want Tank Davis to be the champion so they can make more money. There's conflict of interest on that part. Rick Sanchez, you can't say that for sure that they should order it. It's been so many missed calls and bad calls in boxing that still stands till this day. The problem with what you're saying, Rick Sanchez, is that all those missed calls that you're talking about that stand till this day, they were not under review. That's where you're messing up. You're trying to point somewhere else. Like, well, this one should stay because those stayed. That's a bad assessment. That's a bad point that you're making, my brother. Because this one right here is under review, my brother. It's being reviewed. If you understand the review process, what that means is that and the New York State Athletic Commission already admitted, a lot of people don't know this. In New York, they have instant replay. They could have replayed that moment when he took a knee and walked away, and they could have told the referee to make the count. They didn't have the benefit of the instant replay because of some type of glitch in their system, but They got replay, which they couldn't use. They already seen the video of Tank taking the knee, and they are reviewing it, my brother. So all those other situations that you're talking about, they were not under review. They were not under review. This one is. Superman says unlaced, but that's subjective, because even he was hurt. He showed that major grit, so he could have been hurt, but not enough to quit. And Sean says Tank landed more punches and overall more punches, so without the knee, he would have won. So to Roach's advantage, it was a draw and not a loss for him. Yo, Sean, you wildin' out, my brother. First of all, Roach threw and landed more punches. I don't know where you got that from. That's the first thing. You wildin' out, my brother. And second of all, you're saying that the knee was to Roach's advantage. Of course it wasn't. They didn't deduct any points. They did not deduct any points on Roach. That was a disadvantage, because two scorecards have Roach and Tank as a draw. If you do that point deduction, Tank lost. How you going to make up your own theory? How you going to make up your own scorecards? The scorecards ended as a draw without a point deduction. So if there was no point deduction, how are you going to say that's to Roach's advantage? How are you going to say it's to Roach's advantage that Tank walked away and besides walking away, put his head outside, had his coach wipe his face? Look, Sean, I'm going to play a video for you, Sean. Because Sean and other boxing fans need to hear. You need this video so you can understand it. Look, this is for you, Sean.
Took a knee, that was the standing 8 count. There was three different situations where 3 ways Roach should have won that fight. Took a knee, that was a standing 8 count, 100%. That was a knockdown. Then he turns and walks away. That the ref should have waved it off, and that should have been a TKO. And then his corner steps into the ring to wipe his face. That's a disqualification. Yeah. There's no way Roach shouldn't have walked out with that belt in his hands. There was three different situations where
My peoples, that's a world-renowned boxing trainer, a trainer of the year, and a future Hall of Famer telling you there were 3 rules that was broken within 10-15 seconds. You took a knee, you turn your back to your opponent, protect yourself at all times and all that. He wasn't protecting himself. He walked away, literally walked away from everybody. And then you have your trainer go on the apron and wipe your face? Bro, all 3 of those situations were enough for Tank Davis to lose that fight. All 3 of them. You have somebody telling you this, and I was telling you this 2-3 days ago. Those of you who've been subscribed to the channel, who've been rocking with me, y'all know I talked about all 3 of those situations before Robert Garcia said it in an interview, because he said that yesterday. He said that yesterday in an interview. I said that 2-3 days ago. Now, look at this. Look at this, my peoples.
He take a knee.
Look.
He take a knee. You need to lose like 10-8 that round at least, no? And plus the corner go up and put it a towel in the face. That's a disqualification for sure. I'm talking about the rules, but it's not my business.
It's about the rules, my peoples. We could argue opinion all day long. You can say, no, I think Tank won, and I think it should be a draw. We can go back and forth about opinion. But when it comes to the rules, it's very, very clear. It's black and white. There's no gray areas in those rules. It's black and white. This is what's supposed to happen when you take a knee. This is what's supposed to happen when you turn your back to your opponent. This is what's supposed to happen if your trainer tries to help you mid-round. And I want to say something to those who didn't hear it earlier. Canelo Álvarez is on video as saying Tank Davis is my favorite fighter to watch. He said that Tank Davis will beat Shakur Stevenson, Devin Haney. He says that Tank Davis will beat all of them. So you can't say, oh, Canelo's being a hater, or he just want Tank to lose. That's his favorite fighter, and he's on record as saying that, my peoples. He's on record. You can look up the videos where he talks very highly of Tank Davis. But like a lot of people within the boxing community, Canelo Álvarez puts the rules of boxing in front of Tank Davis. It's only Tank Davis fans who put Tank Davis in front of the rules of boxing. That's why a lot of people are saying, you know what? Tank Davis fans, they not boxing fans. They're Tank Davis fans. Because they not really respecting the rules of boxing. It's more about defend Tank Davis no matter what. How about the rules of boxing? How about what the judges should have done with a point deduction? That wasn't done because of the referee. The referee was supposed to do a point deduction when Tank Davis took a knee. The referee could have called it a TKO when Tank turned his back and walked away. And the referee could have disqualified Tank Davis for getting help from his corner while the clock is ticking. So the referee failed majorly. Crashed and burned. And that's why we have this controversy right now. We have a controversy. Now, when it comes to the judges, I felt some type of way about the judges. Because I'm telling you, my peoples, I personally scored this thing 8 rounds to Lamont Roach. 8 rounds. Now, I don't expect everybody to agree with me, just like I said, but I want to show you something so y'all can see I felt some type of way about them referees and the way they handled it. Look at the video that I did to the referees. I wish I could send it right to them. Look. Show you. I will call my people. I could be involved in the sport of boxing. I will call a meeting with all 3 of those judges. And in that meeting, I will start off by asking, yo, can you tell me why you 2 scored the fight a draw and why you score it for Tank Davis? And as soon as the first one start talking, no, you know what? Shut the fuck up. All 3 of you is fired. Get the fuck out of my office, you bums. Y'all don't know what the hell y'all doing. Get the hell out of here. Security, come get these bums out of here. That's how that meeting would have played out. Now y'all know how I feel about them judges. But that's just my opinion, my people. You know, that was actually the next day after the fight. So I was really emotional about it. Go get that money. I just got my hair done 2 days ago. That was a good remix too. And that was major cap when it comes to the hair. My peoples, I used to have long hair for 10 years. From when I was 15 years old to when I was 25, I didn't cut my hair. 10 years. I did cornrows so many times. And I can tell you, when they put hair grease to do cornrows, by day number 2, that hair grease is dry as hell. It's dry. Tank Davis did his cornrows on Wednesday and fought on Saturday. 3 days later. 3.5 days later. Because he did them on Wednesday in the afternoon and fought on Saturday night. 3.5 days later. You really think 3.5 days later, grease that was put in your head 3.5 days later is going to be dripping down into your eyes from sweat? Of course not. That shit is 100% cap. Anybody in here who's ever had long hair and ever did cornrows, you know, come on, you got to give it to me, man. You got to be honest. There's no chance that you got grease from 3 days ago dripping into your eyes. Plus, like I told you, my people, the video is already out. You can already see Tank Davis get punched in the eye and go, and take a knee right away. Felt the eye burning. He got punched right inside the goddamn eyeball. That's what made his eye burn. Now, what I would say most likely happened, they put Vaseline. That Vaseline that they put in his eyes, when he got punched, he could have got some Vaseline in there and that burnt. Because that does burn. But what you got to do when that happens, you got to fight through it. You got to fight through it. And when the round is over, let your corner know, yo, clean my eye out. Black Jericho says it's possible, but that's his problem. No excuse. He's a professional. This ain't his, this ain't his first rodeo. Facts. What if it was just sweat? I mean, it could be sweat. It could be the Vaseline. And it could just be that he got punched in the eyeball. Whatever the case may be, you got to fight through it. You got to fight through it. You're not in the gym. This is not a gym sparring session. You got to fight. My peoples, I'm about to drop off this live. But before I do, I want to give a shout out to all the new subscribers that came through today. My brother Superman, my brother Black Jericho. Y'all already know what it is. Y'all stay holding me down. Go get that money. I appreciate you, my brother. Ooh, my boy Jiu-Jitsu Jedi. Unlaced. Yo, John Parham. All my peoples that always come through to show me love. Y'all already know what it is, my peoples. I really appreciate y'all. I appreciate everybody who hit that like button. It's free. And just so that you know, whenever you hit that like button, YouTube, it goes into the algorithm and they help more people see the video. When they scrolling, they allow more people to see it. So everybody who hit that like button, you're pushing my content for me. I appreciate that. Appreciate the new subscribers. Yo, y'all already know what it is, man. I'm going to be back tonight, 7 o'clock Eastern time. We're going to go at it. This isn't over. We got a lot of shit to talk about. And, of course, we got to talk about that card, my peoples. Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez in Times Square, New York City. Is going to be serious out there. They're going to be fighting surrounded by skyscrapers. I can't wait for that joint. Y'all already know what it is, my peoples. Jay Smith, this is your favorite boxer's favorite boxing show. I see you tonight, my peoples. One love. Salute to everybody, man. We out of here.